Thank you for spending part of your afternoon with us here on Twin Cities Live on this Friday. This is my friend Des from KS95. You know her, you love her, you listen to her every morning, and now she's here.
I'm here, and get this, I'm 38% Irish. Did you know that?
Are you? Which side?
Well, I guess I don't really. No, it's my dad's.
It's your dad's.
Yes, and I didn't find this out till I did one of those DNA tests.
Yeah.
But did you know that 10% of Minnesotans have Irish ancestry?
Oh my gosh.
And I'm telling you this because we want to talk about two kinds of typical goodbyes when you leave a party.
Oh, this is very fun. Okay, we all know the Minnesota goodbye.
Yep. Oh.
It takes a very long time.
It's like, well, about that time.
About that time to get going here, and then an hour and a half later, you're still there. What about the Irish exit? Quick like a bunny. Hop on out, don't even tell anybody.
Big fan of that one.
Which do you tend to do and why? Dr. Karen Ryan is a licensed psychologist with Nystrom and Associates, and she joins us. This is, I'm telling you, the most unique take on a St. Patrick's Day themed segment we've ever done.
We're going for it.
And I'm here for it.
Yeah, here we go.
Everybody's in the green. Okay.
That's right.
So explain the differences here. We kind of just outlined it, but the Minnesota goodbye versus the Irish exit.
Yep. Yeah, you highlighted so well. So the Minnesota goodbye is, somebody says, well, we should get going, and then you stand up, but then you still go and you kind of still circle the room, you still say goodbye to people, there's hugs, sometimes the host will like walk you to the door, there's another hug, there's another goodbye, then there's the wave as you like drive away, and so it's really just an extended long period of saying goodbye.
Okay, the Irish exit.
Yeah, that's where you kind of just like quietly scoot out, or you don't tell anybody that you're leaving and kind of just disappear out the back door or go quickly.
Like, where did they go?
Where did they go?
It is a slang definition though, really has
100%.
nothing to do with one's identity or ancestry anymore.
Right.
They kind of just call it the Irish goodbye.
Yes.
But I have a feeling, having met quite a few Irish people in the last year when I went to Ireland, I think that they would fully embrace it because nobody loves a little quirky saying more than the Irish people.
That's right.
That is very true.
Yeah.
Okay, so what can be the challenges here though?
Yeah. So if you think about the Minnesota goodbye, when you say, well, it's time to get going, you probably have looked at your watch and it probably is a helpful time for you to get going. And so if you really want to be home at a certain time or you need to get something and now you're having to kind of work the room and you're chatting, it can be hard to leave. And if you have some social anxiety and you're at a gathering, it can make it hard to know, like, well, when is the right time to leave? Like, how long have I said goodbye?
Yeah.
Long enough? Have I done it long enough? And so that could be there, that anxiousness of like, are they just talking to me because they feel like they have to, or do they want me to leave?
Yeah.
And so that it can lead to some ambiguity about actual leaving.
Okay.
Well, what are benefits of each of them?
Yeah. Yeah, and the Irish goodbye, right? The worry is then that we might offend the person, that we don't say goodbye and they don't think we're grateful to be there. So the benefits then, I think about my girlfriends, when we go to dinner, we chat. Then we leave the restaurant and we're in the entryway and we chat more. And then two of us, like, we pair off and walk to our cars. We chat again. There's another hug. So it's really that building that connection and showing that care and being present in the moment and just enjoying that time together. So odds are, if you're saying goodbye and you stand up and you connect with other people, you're making more connections as you go to leave. So that's the benefit of the Minnesota goodbye.
Okay.
The benefit of the Irish exit can be that really preserves your time. If you need to go at a certain time, you just kind of sneak out. Sometimes if the host is busy or it's a big gathering, it's kind of like, oh, I don't need to make a scene or I don't want to interrupt them.
Right.
I'm just going to kind of politely leave.
Yeah. And you could always just like send a little text.
Yep,
like,
exactly.
hey, oh my gosh, had to run. Love you so much. It was such a great party.
Yes,
You're
that
the
is
best.
absolutely what I would recommend.
Yes.
And so sometimes that when that anxiety is there, you're figuring out, like, how do I say goodbye? When do I don't want to interrupt them. I don't want to put a pause if there's kind of a vibe going. So yeah, if you do that exit quick, a really skillful way to handle that is just to shoot a quick text and say, thank you so much. I had so much fun. Or tell one other person.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Because then if they're like, where'd Karen go? Oh, she had to go. She had a meeting or she had a family gathering.
Yeah.
Then they're not thinking that you're offended or left rudely. There's an understanding that you needed to leave.
Right. I feel like I sometimes I want to sneak out because if I say I have to go, I'm afraid everyone else is going to feel like they have to go.
Yeah,
you know, like you're setting the tone, like it's time to go. It's like, no, it's just time for me to go.
Yeah, not you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what you can say, like, I hate to leave earlier. I have to get going now. I have this. Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing I think about though with like the long goodbye is when like look at it from a partnership situation, because I don't know if anybody else has gotten in this situation, but if you have like one spouse, I mean, you can always tell one spouse who's like, it is time time to crack-a-lack. Like, we told the babysitter we would be home at 9:30.
Yep.
It is now 9:35.
Yes.
And we haven't even left yet. And then you have the other person who's like still, oh yeah,
That's me.
okay. Yes,
That's
yes.
yeah.
And I am the Taylor.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, it's time to move. We told the babysitter it's time to go. So in some cases, I have actually driven separately.
Yep.
So that I can be
Yes.
like, because I need to be in control of
Yeah.
when I want to go.
Yeah.
Now,
And Jay's like, woo!
and Jay's like, okay, I'll stay for one more beer, which probably means longer than
Yes,
that. Or
30
I'll be
minutes.
like, you take an, we live in the city, so I'm like, you take an
Yeah.
Uber, I'm taking the car. Is that healthy to do?
What should we? Yeah.
Asking for a friend.
I think if you know you need to get home and you know that there's a time frame and you're worried about it, that is an absolutely like healthy thing to do.
Yeah.
Right. Another way is like really communicating it when you're saying, okay, this is going to be a really fun event, but we have to be back for the babysitter by 9:30. I'm worried if we're late. It's
Yeah.
really important because she's younger, whatever reason.
Yes.
And so that way, when you can look and say it is 9:20. So then, if your person is the one more beer, one more drink, one more chat, you can just look kind of like we do for our loving kids. 15-minute warning.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it's 9:15.
Oh, yeah,
we gotta
good call.
we gotta be out by 9:30. So then you can even start that Minnesota. Well, we're gonna get going soon, and then come 15 minutes later, that's when you're like, and now we're exiting quickly.
So
Yeah.
you're saying that my plan is always to just not make eye contact with my husband because he's going to make me leave. I'm like, oh,
Something over here.
Shaking his
Whoop.
head.
Yes, he's like, oh, I've done it many
It was so funny
times.
because we were planning for this, and my husband literally did both in one gathering. So he was like, we need to get going. And then somebody said, want to play darts? So he started playing darts. And Greta's like, Dad. And then when it's time to go, all of a sudden he's like, okay, let's just sneak.
It's so funny. You know, when I was a kid, I was growing up, and my dad was a minister. I talk about this a lot. And there were times when, like, my mom would have to leave, and we would have to stay with my dad. And I remember he would have to say hello to every single person in the congregation.
Yeah.
And some of you at Messiah Lutheran were bigger talkers than others. And I would be, like, starving or just over it because
I
I'd
wanna
been
go.
sitting there for 3 services, and I'm like, I've got to get out of here. And I would just, like, eyeball people who I would see going up to him and be like, don't even think about it because I just wanted to go. So there is some like stress and some things that can
Yeah.
happen. And I also think you have to respect like which partner has more social bandwidth than the other
Yes.
partner. Because I
Yes.
know when I'm tapped out, I'm tapped out.
Yeah.
But Jay usually has more in him. Jay
Yeah.
and Des should go out. Taylor,
Yeah.
you want to go to a party with me?
Yeah,
We'll leave early.
I mean, he knows that you'd actually cook for him. So he's all in. He's like, sign me up.
Yeah.
But I think that comes back to that communication
Yeah.
and being like, you know, this has been really a great time, but I'm feeling tapped out. I need to go. I want to leave now. And so that's that communication and doing that. And then if you are alone, giving yourself permission to leave.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I was thinking about as we were talking about this, that we can always model for our kids.
Yeah.
Is like, it's okay to leave.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's okay to leave if we've had enough. It's okay to leave if we're tired. It's okay to leave if we feel uncomfortable. And so there's that piece to it too.
How about these wise words? When in doubt, take 2 cars. Thanks, Dr. Ryan.
Yeah.
That's, you want cheap therapy from me? I just gave it to you. Take 2 cars.
Yes. For
2
sure.
cars. Fine, I'll start making eye contact. I'll be a little bit more respectful about you wanting to leave, Taylor.
We all learned something here. Nystrom Associates provides care in the fields of family therapy, psychiatry, psychology, and more. And if you're struggling with any kind of stress, anxiety, depression, or addiction, listen, we're having fun today, but they
Yeah.
are there for all the hard stuff. Reach out. We got more Twin Cities Live coming up next.